Bobbi Kristina Brown's tragic death at just 22 years old left the world reeling, but it's the chilling details from her autopsy that raise haunting questions. What substances were found in her system? How did her final moments eerily mirror her mother's tragic end? And why does her death remain shrouded in mystery to this day? Stay with us, because what we're about to uncover will leave you speechless. Bobbi Kristina Brown entered this world on March 4th, 1993, as the cherished child of two music legends. Her mother, Whitney Houston, possessed a voice that could move mountains, her talent unmatched, her songs timeless. Her father, Bobby Brown, was a celebrated R&B artist who brought rhythm and soul to millions. Together, they gave the world their only child, Bobbi Kristina, a little girl destined to grow up under the dazzling glare of fame. From an early age, she was often seen beside her famous parents, her young face a fixture on red carpets and at glamorous events. But the life that sparkled so brightly began to dim in 2012. The year brought unimaginable heartbreak to Bobbi Kristina when her mother, Whitney Houston, passed away. The world reeled in disbelief, and fans mourned the loss of an icon whose voice had been the soundtrack to their lives. For her family, the loss was even more profound. Whitney had shown signs of struggle in the days leading up to her death, her appearance unkempt, her behavior erratic, as if the weight of her troubles had finally become too much to bear. On February 9, 2012, Whitney made what would be her final public outing. She visited singers Brandy and Monica during their rehearsals for a pre-Grammy party hosted by her dear friend and mentor, Clive Davis. This party, held at the opulent Beverly Hilton Hotel in Beverly Hills, was an annual celebration of music's biggest night. Clive had guided Whitney through the heights of her career, and their bond was deep and enduring. That evening, Whitney gave the world one last glimpse of her extraordinary gift. In Hollywood, she took the stage with singer Kelly Price, delivering a spontaneous and soul-stirring performance of Jesus Loves Me. It was a moment of pure emotion, her voice carrying a poignancy that now feels prophetic. For those lucky enough to witness it, it was unforgettable. Tragically, it would also be the last time anyone would see Whitney Houston perform. 2 days later, on February 11, 2012, the unthinkable happened. Whitney was found lifeless in her suite at the Beverly Hilton, the same hotel where Clive Davis's party was to take place that evening. She had been submerged in the bathtub, unresponsive, and it was too late for help. Paramedics arrived around 3:30 p.m. and worked desperately to revive her, but their efforts were in vain. At 3:55 p.m., the world lost one of its brightest stars. Whitney Houston was gone. The news of her death swept across the globe like a dark storm cloud. Fans were inconsolable, celebrities paid heartfelt tributes, and the music industry stood still, stunned by the loss. Questions swirled about the circumstances of her death. Police found no signs of foul play, but her passing left a void too large to comprehend. Weeks later, the coroner's report shed light on the tragedy. Whitney had accidentally drowned, her heart weakened by atherosclerotic heart disease. Substances found in her system suggested she had used them shortly before her death, compounding her fragile state. Though her death was ruled an accident, the reality was no less heartbreaking. It was a devastating reminder of the toll that addiction and health struggles can take, even on someone as seemingly untouchable as Whitney Houston. The world mourned her loss, celebrating her extraordinary talent even as it grieved her tragic end. For Bobbi Kristina, the loss was earth-shattering. She had been exceptionally close to her mother, their bond unbreakable. In the days that followed Whitney's passing, Bobbi Kristina was described as inconsolable, her young heart overwhelmed by grief. Her anguish was so profound that she was admitted to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, struggling to process the enormity of her loss. Her pain was a testament to the depth of her love for her mother, and it left those around her heartbroken for her. Despite the sorrow, Whitney had left behind something for her daughter, a legacy of love and care. Bobbi Kristina was named the sole beneficiary of her mother's estate, a reflection of the unshakable bond they had shared. Everything Whitney owned, from her cherished possessions to her financial assets, was entrusted to Bobbi Kristina. This included an estate valued at an estimated $115 million, set up in a carefully managed trust. The trust ensured that Bobbi Kristina would receive the estate in installments, safeguarding her financial future. She was to inherit portions at specific ages, with the full amount to be hers, by the time she turned 30. Whitney had planned for her daughter's future with great care, hoping to protect and provide for her, even in her absence. The estate was more than a fortune. It was a mother's enduring love for her child, a way to shield her from the challenges life might bring. Bobbi Kristina's story is one of light and shadow, a life touched by fame, love, and profound loss. She carried the weight of her mother's legacy while navigating a world that had taken so much from her. The world watched her with hope and sadness, knowing the extraordinary highs and devastating lows she had endured. Her tale is a poignant reminder of the fragility of life, even for those who seem larger than it. Nick Gordon. In the summer of July 2013, just a year after Whitney Houston's untimely passing, Bobbi Kristina Brown made a bold and unexpected proclamation. She was engaged to Nick Gordon. This revelation sent shockwaves rippling through her family and the public alike. Many in her circle expressed unease, grappling with the startling notion of Bobbi Kristina forging a romantic relationship with someone who had once been like a brother to her. Nick Gordon had entered Whitney Houston's life at the tender age of 12. With a heart brimming with compassion, Whitney opened her home to Nick, offering him a place of safety and belonging. Though never legally adopted, Nick became an integral part of the Houston household. Whitney nurtured him with the same love and care she bestowed upon her own daughter, Bobbi Kristina. Growing up side by side, Bobbi Kristina and Nick shared a bond that mirrored that of siblings. But as the years unfurled, their connection transformed. When Whitney's life was tragically cut short, in February 2012, Bobbi Kristina found solace in Nick's unwavering support. Their shared mourning drew them closer, and what had once been a sibling-like friendship shifted into something deeper. This unexpected turn left many stunned, as Bobbi Kristina had previously called Nick her big bruh in heartfelt social media posts. Criticism poured in from every corner, but Bobbi Kristina stood firm in her love for Nick, insisting that their connection was genuine and profound. She revealed that her grandmother, Sissy Houston, had even given her blessing before the engagement was announced. On January 9, 2014, the pair declared they had secretly married, though no official records ever confirmed this union. Still, they portrayed themselves as husband and wife, sharing joyful moments and declarations of love across social platforms. Their relationship, however, was far from idyllic. Marked by turbulence and scrutiny, the pair struggled under the weight of grief and public pressure. What began as a bond born of shared sorrow became a controversial and deeply complex chapter in both their lives, leaving behind a legacy as bittersweet as it was heartbreaking. The death of Bobbi. The tale of Bobbi Kristina Brown is one of profound sorrow, a story that reached its heart-rending conclusion in 2015. It began on a cold winter day, January 31st, 2015, when Bobbi Kristina was discovered unresponsive in her Alpharetta, Georgia home. Her partner, Nick Gordon, and a friend found her submerged face down in a bathtub, a haunting parallel to the way her mother, the legendary Whitney Houston, had been found 3 years earlier. In a frantic attempt to save her life, Nick and his companion performed CPR as panic gripped them. Moments later, paramedics arrived and rushed Bobbi Kristina to North Fulton Hospital in Roswell, Georgia. There, doctors worked tirelessly to stabilize her. She was alive, they said, but her condition was grave. As doctors assessed her state, a devastating truth emerged. Bobbi Kristina's brain function was severely impaired. They placed her in a medically induced coma, hoping to shield her brain and body from further harm. Yet, the outlook was grim. Medical professionals delivered a sobering message to her family. Only a miracle could bring her back to a meaningful life. This cruel revelation struck her loved ones like a thunderbolt. Shock and despair consumed them as they clung to a fragile hope. Her family and friends surrounded her with love, praying for her recovery. Yet, as days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, her condition remained unchanged. Bobbi Kristina lingered in the coma, leaving her family in an agonizing limbo, hearts heavy with unspoken fears. After nearly 6 long months, on July 26, 2015, Bobbi Kristina Brown passed away at the tender age of 22. Her death mirrored her mother's in a way that seemed almost unbearably cruel. As both were found submerged in bathtubs, their lives cut tragically short by the circumstances surrounding their discovery. An autopsy followed soon after, but the medical examiner's findings brought little clarity. No obvious cause of death was identified, and no significant injuries were found. Further testing was required, leaving a shroud of mystery around her final moments. Questions swirled, unanswered and aching. In the wake of her passing, Bobbi Kristina's family released a heartfelt statement of gratitude. They thanked all those who had offered love and support during their harrowing ordeal. The waves of sympathy extended beyond her inner circle, as celebrities and fans alike mourned her loss. Among them were luminaries such as Chris Brown, Oprah Winfrey, Brandy, and Monica, all of whom expressed their sorrow and shared memories of the bond they had with her and her family. On August 1st, 2015, a solemn funeral service was held at St. James United Methodist Church in Alpharetta, Georgia, and admirers gathered to bid farewell. 2 days later, Bobbi Kristina was laid to rest at Fairview Cemetery in Westfield, New Jersey. There, she was buried between her mother, Whitney Houston, and her grandfather, John Russell Houston Jr., forever united in peace. Cause of death. The Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office embarked on a meticulous journey to uncover the truth behind Bobbi Kristina Brown's heartbreaking passing. They delved into her medical records and sifted through police investigation files, piecing together the fragmented story. Exhaustive testing revealed a grim reality. Bobbi Kristina's system held traces of multiple substances. These findings painted a picture of substance and alcohol influence at the time of the fateful incident. Bobbi Kristina's battle with substance misuse, though deeply saddening, was not entirely unforeseen by those who knew her story. Born into the tumultuous lives of Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown, she grew up shadowed by their struggles with addiction, struggles that often played out in the glaring eye of the public. Such an upbringing left indelible marks on her young mind. Friends and family recount a childhood steeped in an environment where substance use, though unintended, was an undeniable presence. From an early age, Bobbi Kristina watched her parents' soaring triumphs and crushing defeats unfold under relentless scrutiny. Those closest to her have shared how witnessing these battles influenced her own path. Reports suggest she began experimenting with substances while still young, and those around her noticed troubling signs, whispers of a deeper struggle taking root. The medical examiner's final report revealed that the underlying cause of Bobbi Kristina's death was immersion associated with substance intoxication. This meant the substances in her body likely caused her to lose consciousness, resulting in her tragic submersion in the bathtub. Yet, the manner of her death, whether an accident or something darker, remains shrouded in uncertainty. This unanswered question only deepened the sorrow surrounding her loss. The medical examiner's statement clarified that her death was not due to natural causes, and so the manner was officially recorded as undetermined. The autopsy further revealed that Bobbi Kristina succumbed to lobar pneumonia, a condition stemming from months in a coma, as her body, weakened and vulnerable, succumbed to infections and complications. Legal battles. After Bobbi Kristina Brown's tragic and untimely death, the aftermath was steeped in turmoil, legal battles, and family discord. What unfolded was a gripping saga that exposed the fragile and fractured relationships between her family members, particularly between the Brown family and the Houston family. As the young starlet's estate came under scrutiny, fierce disagreements over control of her medical and financial decisions surfaced, casting shadows over her already somber legacy. The question of who held the authority to make crucial decisions for Bobbi Kristina, both during her final days and after her passing, became a heated point of contention. With no spouse to inherit the responsibility, her estate was left solely in her name. This ignited a power struggle among her grieving relatives, each side staunchly advocating for what they believed was the best course of action. Their opposing visions for how Bobbi Kristina's legacy should be managed only deepened the rift, exacerbated by the collective weight of their sorrow. Amid the emotional upheaval, a storm of legal drama began brewing. Bobbi Kristina's estate filed a wrongful death lawsuit against her boyfriend, Nick Gordon, alleging his direct involvement in her tragic demise. The lawsuit accused Gordon of physical abuse and of actions that contributed to her untimely death. The shocking claims painted a chilling picture of the events that may have transpired in her final moments. Nick Gordon, however, adamantly denied any role in Bobbi Kristina's passing, insisting on his innocence. Through social media, he expressed his grief, sharing memories of happier times they had spent together. But his public displays of sorrow did little to quell the accusations against him. Bobbi Kristina's legal team, led by attorney Terrett, presented a starkly different narrative. "I am convinced," Terrett declared, "that Gordon played a role in Bobbi Kristina's death, whether by injecting her with harmful substances or by allowing her to enter a dangerous state of intoxication and leaving her to perish in that bathtub. His actions, or lack thereof, bear responsibility." The wrongful death lawsuit detailed these grim accusations, claiming Gordon's actions, whether intentional or negligent, had been a catalyst for Bobbi Kristina's tragic end. The chilling allegations gripped the public's imagination, with many left questioning what truly happened in the hours before her passing. For Bobbi Kristina's family, however, the focus remained steadfast, seeking justice for their beloved daughter. The legal battle had begun even before her death, when Bobbi Kristina was moved into hospice care. Her court-appointed conservator filed a damning lawsuit against Nick Gordon. "I filed this lawsuit to fight for justice," attorney Bedelia C. Hargrove stated. "No one should endure what Bobbi Kristina endured, male or female." At that time, Gordon was prohibited from visiting Bobbi Kristina due to the family's mounting concerns over his alleged actions. The lawsuit went further, claiming that Gordon had fabricated a marriage to Bobbi Kristina, a critical claim that cast doubt on his motives. This falsehood, the lawsuit argued, was particularly troubling because of Bobbi Kristina's significant inheritance from her late mother, Whitney Houston. By masquerading as her husband, Gordon might have sought to manipulate her for financial gain. The legal documents described his alleged control over nearly every aspect of Bobbi Kristina's life, raising alarms about the true nature of their relationship. According to court filings, Gordon isolated Bobbi Kristina from her loved ones, even taking over her personal communication. He reportedly dictated her movements, refusing to let her make appointments or decisions without his approval. This unsettling control extended to her finances as well. The lawsuit accused Gordon of interfering with her bank accounts, restricting her access to her own money, and eventually transferring large sums into an account under his sole control. As these allegations surfaced, the case took on an even darker tone. A restraining order was issued against Gordon after he was accused of stalking an unnamed trustee managing Bobbi Kristina's financial trusts. This restraining order highlighted the lengths to which Gordon allegedly went to maintain influence over her estate, even as she lay in critical condition. The situation escalated further with accusations that Gordon had continued accessing Bobbi Kristina's accounts during her hospitalization, reportedly stealing over $11,000. These financial manipulations added weight to the lawsuit's claims of exploitation. To Bobbi Kristina's legal team, this was part of a broader pattern of abuse and control, painting Gordon as a figure who preyed on her vulnerability, emotionally, physically, and financially. The mounting evidence against Gordon, combined with the haunting details of Bobbi Kristina's last days, painted a harrowing picture. For her family, the legal battle was about far more than money or public opinion. It was about honoring her memory, uncovering the truth, and ensuring justice was served for the young woman who had been thrust into the limelight from birth, only to meet a tragic end. As the case unfolded, it captured the world's attention, a poignant reminder of how the shadows of fame, fortune, and fractured relationships can converge into tragedy. Bobbi Kristina's story became not just one of heartbreak, but of resilience, as her family fought relentlessly to preserve her legacy and bring to light the truths hidden beneath layers of sorrow and suspicion. Nick's legal troubles. In a tragic turn of events tied to Bobbi Kristina Brown's untimely death, a Georgia court delivered a striking verdict in a civil lawsuit brought by her estate. Nick Gordon, a central figure in her life, was found legally responsible for her passing. The court ruled that Gordon was liable for her death and demanded he pay an astonishing $36 million in damages. Yet, the judgment came without any fight from Gordon. He failed to defend himself in court, sealing his fate. With no defense or rebuttal, the judge swiftly ruled against him, holding him accountable for the tragic loss of Bobbi Kristina. Even though Gordon was held liable in civil court, criminal charges never came. This absence of criminal proceedings deeply upset her grieving family. Her father, Bobbi Brown, and other close relatives openly voiced their heartbreak and frustration. To them, true justice for Bobbi Kristina remained elusive without the weight of a criminal trial. The void left by this decision lingered, casting a shadow over the family's quest for closure. But Nick Gordon's legal troubles did not end there. Over the years, he found himself ensnared in more accusations and investigations. In 2018, his troubles erupted again when he was arrested in Florida on charges of domestic violence. This arrest was not an isolated event. In less than a year, it was the second time Gordon faced accusations of domestic assault. The incident only magnified his history of turmoil, with a string of violent encounters and legal issues painting a troubling picture of his life after Bobbi Kristina's death. According to the Seminole County Sheriff's Office, Gordon's latest arrest followed a heated altercation with his girlfriend. Both Gordon and the alleged victim shared differing accounts of the events. Gordon claimed his girlfriend started the fight, but her version told a different story. She recounted how she had picked Gordon up from a bar, only for him to spark an argument that quickly escalated into physical violence. When officers arrived, they found chilling evidence of the confrontation. Visible injuries on Gordon's girlfriend, including a swollen lip and dried blood, told a grim tale. Despite her reluctance to press charges, the responding officer took action. The visible wounds and the seriousness of the situation compelled them to arrest Gordon. Nick Gordon was taken into custody, his bond set at $500. The arrest added yet another stain to his name, underscoring a disturbing pattern of behavior. This latest accusation of violence only further solidified the reputation of a man whose life had spiraled into chaos, marked by pain, controversy, and unanswered questions after Bobbi Kristina's tragic end. The Bobbi Kristina Serenity House. The world was shaken when news broke of Nick Gordon's arrest for domestic violence. Christopher Brown, a lawyer from the firm Brown & Rosen LLC, stepped forward to address the situation. Through a solemn statement shared with E! News on Sunday, Brown confirmed the grim development. "We have been informed that Nick Gordon was arrested for domestic violence of Laura Leal in Florida yesterday," he revealed, his words echoing with the weight of the moment. In the wake of this troubling incident, Christopher Brown conveyed a heartfelt intention to extend support to Laura Leal through the Bobbi Kristina Brown Serenity House. This sanctuary, a beacon of hope for women fleeing domestic violence, was founded to honor the memory of Bobbi Kristina Brown, who tragically lost her life amidst similar struggles. The Serenity House exists not only as a tribute, but as a lifeline for women in dire circumstances, offering resources, refuge, and a path to safety. Bobbi Brown and his team were resolute in their mission to ensure Laura Leal would not face this crisis alone. They sought to provide her with the tools and assistance needed to rebuild, emphasizing their deep compassion and commitment to those affected by domestic violence. The Serenity House was created to be more than an organization. It was a promise, born from heartbreak, to help others escape the cycle of abuse and reclaim their lives. Amid this tragedy, Bobbi Brown, father of the late Bobbi Kristina, issued a deeply emotional statement. His words carried the weight of a father's grief and a man's determination. Reflecting on his daughter's untimely death, Bobbi Brown laid bare the anguish that domestic violence had inflicted on his family. He acknowledged that this pain was something no family should ever endure. "Domestic violence took my daughter away," he declared, a simple yet profound truth that underscored his commitment to change. Bobbi Brown then announced a critical step in this battle against domestic violence. The Bobbi Kristina Brown Serenity House had hosted its first event on March 4, 2018. This moment marked a stand against abuse, a call for awareness, and a rallying cry for those trapped in the shadows of fear and pain. Through this initiative, Bobbi Brown sought to create a lasting impact, using his personal loss as a foundation for hope and healing. Turning his attention to Laura Leal, Bobbi Brown extended an earnest offer of help. "I personally would like to extend my hand to Miss Leal and offer her services through our organization," he said, his voice resolute. "I do not want to see any more families destroyed at the hands of domestic violence, and I do not want any more women to suffer like my daughter did. We are here to assist, and we hope to hear from Miss Leal." These words carried not just an offer of support, but a plea, a desperate hope to prevent others from walking the same path of sorrow his family had endured. Bobbi Brown's determination was clear: to transform his family's tragedy into a force for good. Through the Serenity House, he vowed to provide women with the strength to escape, to heal, and to begin anew. He saw this mission as more than charity. It was a personal crusade against the darkness of domestic violence. His message, full of compassion and unwavering resolve, resonated with a simple yet powerful truth: no one should have to suffer alone. Bobbi Brown's actions and words painted a picture of hope for women like Laura Leal, reminding them that even in the darkest times, help is always within reach. Through the Serenity House, he sought to bring light, safety, and the promise of a better tomorrow to those in need. Nick Gordon's death. In 2020, Nick Gordon, the former boyfriend of Bobbi Kristina Brown, passed away at just 30 years old. The news, delivered by his lawyer Joe Habachy in an email to The Times, sent waves of sadness. Habachy, though he did not share the exact details of Nick's passing, expressed deep sorrow. In his statement, he mourned, "It's been truly heartbreaking to witness the devastation that substance addiction has brought upon a circle of young friends who were loved and full of promise." Nick's death deepened the tragic tale of Bobbi Kristina, whose own life had ended too soon and under eerily similar circumstances. The heartbreak continued when Bobby Brown, father of Bobbi Kristina and ex-husband of Whitney Houston, shared his pain during an emotional Red Table Talk interview. There, Bobby spoke candidly about the deaths of Whitney and Bobbi Kristina. He made it clear he held Nick Gordon responsible for both tragedies. "Nick was the only one there in both situations, my ex-wife and my daughter, and they both died the same way," Bobby said, his voice heavy with anguish. He referred to the haunting similarity in their deaths. Both Whitney and Bobbi Kristina were found unconscious in bathtubs, their lives claimed after battles with substance misuse. Bobby's accusations were sharp and unrelenting. He believed that Nick's actions played a direct role in the tragic outcomes. He was there when they needed help, Bobby insisted, his frustration clear. For Bobby, these connections made it impossible not to hold Nick accountable. The interview also revealed Bobby's personal struggles. Reflecting on his regrets, Bobby admitted the immense difficulty of coping with such profound losses. The guilt weighed on him, especially as he revisited the moments he might have been able to prevent the tragedies. Still, he remained unwavering in his belief that Nick bore responsibility. Bobby's words unveiled the depth of his sorrow. Each loss, Whitney's, Bobbi Kristina's, left behind lingering pain and unanswered questions. Speaking out on Red Table Talk was Bobby's way of keeping the conversation alive, his search for closure and justice far from over. The interview illuminated how deeply these losses had marked his life, leaving him with wounds that time had yet to heal. In a particularly heart-wrenching revelation, Bobby shared that he had learned Bobbi Kristina was physically abused by Nick Gordon. But this discovery came only after her death. The knowledge was devastating, a painful reminder of what he hadn't known and couldn't change. Bobby regretted never confronting Nick about the mistreatment. At the time these events unfolded, Bobby was in rehab, fighting his own battles with addiction. Looking back, he regretted not being there for his daughter when she needed him most. "I don't know why I didn't see it," Bobby said, his voice full of sorrow. After her mother's death, we didn't spend as much time together as we should have. He lamented the distance that had grown between them, wishing he had noticed the signs of her struggles sooner. The loss of Bobbi Kristina was just one of many heartbreaks Bobby endured. In 2020, his son Bobby Brown Jr. passed away at only 28 years old. The cause of death was a deadly combination of alcohol and other substances. This devastating loss came on top of the grief Bobby already carried for Bobbi Kristina and Whitney. The thread tying all these tragedies together, substance misuse, was a cruel and relentless force. Reflecting on these unbearable losses, Bobby often speaks about the destructive power of addiction and abuse. He openly shares his regrets, wishing he could have done more to shield his children from harm. Bobby's experiences stand as a harsh reminder of how addiction tears families apart and leaves scars that never fully heal. Despite his pain, Bobby has found purpose in his grief. Determined to make a difference, he has become a passionate advocate for raising awareness about the dangers of addiction and domestic violence. He uses his platform to educate others, hoping to prevent similar tragedies from happening to other families. His mission is clear: to honor the memories of Bobbi Kristina and Bobbi Jr. by helping others avoid their fate. Bobbi's journey, though marked by heartbreak, is also one of resilience. Through his advocacy, he keeps the legacies of his loved ones alive, turning his sorrow into a powerful call for change. His story is a poignant reminder that even in the face of unimaginable loss, hope and purpose can still rise. But what do you think? Do you believe fame and fortune make people more vulnerable to tragic downfalls like these? Or are these stories unique to individual struggles? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective. And before you go, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a story that matters. Did you know that many other Black celebrities have also seen their fortunes, fame, and everything they once held dear slip away almost overnight? Some lost it all to betrayal, scandal, or even their own choices. The reasons will leave you stunned. Click on the video appearing on your screen right now to uncover the shocking stories of 20 Black celebrities who lost everything overnight. Their journeys are jaw-dropping, their falls from grace are unforgettable, and their stories will make you rethink the price of fame. Don't miss it. Watch now.